Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Gina, Theresa.
I'm Charlie Coralejo.
And you are watching the New York Film Academy's Twitch channel, School.
What's up, guys? Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh my god, happy Valentine's Day, Charlie.
Happy Valentine's Day, Gina.
Look, Nick, our producer, is Brazilian, right? Brazilian? And he brought us Brazilian chocolates. First news, breaking news, not really. It's actually pretty cool, though. This first segment is all about Battlefield 1. It had a winter update that was released. The update primarily focuses on improving progression systems for the game as well as fixing bugs. The maximum class rank has been increased from 10 to 50, and now with your little milestones of hitting like rank 20, rank 30, rank 40, and rank 50, you get to unlock new dog tags as well as customization options for your kill card.
Ribbons will make a comeback in the winter update. Unlike medals, which you have to specifically choose to work toward, these are all tracked constantly while playing. Performing certain tasks like securing 3 kills while on a horse.
Sorry, I got really excited about that.
Well, you actually know how to...
Yeah.
You have
Continue!
horses. Will reward you with a ribbon and bonus experience. These can be unlocked repeatedly in a single match.
I have never secured any kills while on the back of my horse. My horse has almost killed me while I was on the back of it, but anyway. Moving on, those who have rented servers on the system, you also gain a ban and kick option, which is super useful. I can just attest to that. You also get a new way to enable map voting, which is really cool. When that option is turned on, players within the lobby can vote on which map they want to play on next as long as they're on that victory screen.
Also, a variety of UI, vehicle, and weapon changes are in store as well. These weren't detailed in full, but we know the heavy tank will now show up on the minimap. And the cooldown on vehicles' gas abilities is increasing.
Yeah, the Martini Henry, which had been nerfed in a previous update, was deemed to have been hit a little too hard. So they went ahead and received a small buff to it that's going to help make it a little bit more competitive from now on. We were discussing earlier, like, I am definitely a Call of Duty nerd.
I used to be a Call of Duty guy.
But
Battlefield...
But Battlefield
I have no idea. I can appreciate
fun,
the crazy stuff people do online.
It's fun because it's more it's a more reactive environment.
Yeah, it's like a huge environment.
Yeah.
You can be on a jet and then jump out of the jet into another jet. Amazing things can happen. You can, there are definitely reasons to play Battlefield. I just never got into it. I'm so sorry.
Buy me Battlefield, Twitch. Anyway, okay, so, because I'm poor. Jumping to our next topic is THQ Nordic announcing back in January that they were going to release, along with Microsoft, a swanky box edition of Halo Wars 2. 2 of them, actually. They were going to originally release the standard box set, and then they were going to put the Ultimate Edition, the Deluxe Edition, that's going to include a season pass, and the enhanced Halo Wars Definitive Edition sounds super cool, except if you're in North America, just kidding. That was what the announcement was. They are taking...
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Sucks to be us, apparently.
Yeah.
Came to light that they have changed that plan somewhat. Now, if you're in North America and you want that box set, you're going to have to order it from overseas.
Developer 343 Industries said in a message posted to the Halo Waypoint, earlier this month, you may have heard that we were partnering with our friends at THQ Nordic for worldwide availability of a physical retail version of Halo Wars 2 for Windows 10 PC. Since then, our retail plans have shifted, and Microsoft has made the decision to focus the release of the physical retail version to Europe only. The THQ Nordic is a great partner, and they are working with us to ensure this transition remains smooth for our customers.
I don't understand. I mean, no official reason behind the cancellation for North American box sets was given. It is pretty widely known that box sets and physical discs and all of that, they sell better in Europe than they do in North America, but it's still so bizarre. They just made the announcement a month, not even a month ago, hey, we're gonna do this super cool thing, and now the game's actually dropping on the 21st.
Gina's really hurt, guys.
I am a little offended. Last but not least, Valve has decided that they are going to change the way independent game makers can get their swag, their creations, onto the Steam engine.
Love you, Valve.
Yes, thank you. The existing system is called Greenlight, and it's going to be replaced with something called Steam Direct. This is going to let developers get their games onto the service without first having to win over audiences to the title.
In a statement setting out how Steam Direct will work, Valve said developers would be able to publish directly after they completed the sign-up process. The process will require developers to submit the same sort of information that they would need to open a bank account. In addition, developers will have to pay a publishing fee. Valve said it has not yet decided how much this would be, but after talking to other developers and stuff, they decided that it might be around like $100 to $5,000 per title.
That's a huge range. Anyway, Valve said that the fee was going to decrease the noise in the submission pipeline, which most people have interpreted as their attempt to discourage unscrupulous gamers or unscrupulous developers from like submitting trash games to greenlight and bogging down the system, which is like what has been happening in the past.
Developer Mike Gale said it was not clear that Steam Direct would stop bad games from being published on the service. Writing on this blog, Mr. Gale said it would probably mean far more games reach Steam because $100 to $5,000 is easier to come by than tens of thousands of votes required to pass the greenlight system. He said the top end of the suggested fee was not unreasonable and was likely to be far less than many developers paid when creating console games.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we are getting into the bulk of the show. We have David Fratto in the studio with us. He has worked for all of the main, like, huge publishing companies. He's worked on major brands as well. He's done games for Jurassic Park. He did the Teletubbies game, which I have heard is a very nostalgic point for many of our audience members and people here in the studio. I haven't played it, but like we've got people that are very happy. Doctor Who, which that makes me happy, and I'm in the wrong camera, and Top Gear. In addition to all of that and all of his video game outside of the school idea, he also works here at NYFA and teaches a course on what we're touching on tonight. He teaches a business of game development, which is basically like, that's cool, you've got a great game and a cool idea and you've made all this stuff. How the heck do you sell it to people? Yay! I guess let's get into the show. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So first of all, I kind of want to talk about basically publishing games, self-publishing games, right? So that's what people, I think, in 2017, that's what you can do. And you've only been able to do it for a very few years. Basically the past, 8 years maybe?
Yeah.
8 years, really, since the iPhone came out, because like mobile games came out. So the first thing I want to do is just talk about like, what does it mean to publish a game? Okay. So to publish a game, I kind of define it as like, the sort of basic steps. I mean, it used to be publishing a game was the developers would make the game and the publisher would get it out there. So you would make the game, you would hand it over to the publisher, and they would market the game, they would sell the game, they would get into stores, right? That's not the way it works anymore. In a lot of cases. So, right now, a developer can publish their own games. So when I talk about publishing, I think of it as sort of four different things. One is coming up with a good idea, which is, probably the easiest thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good ideas out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not the thing that sells the game, though. But that's the most fun, and
Is a jumping off place.
To me, that's the most important. The very first thing you need to do is have a really good idea.
Okay.
And so that's one thing we'll do a little bit later on. Then, of course, raise money, because you need to make money for a game. I mean, you can do it for very little, but you always need something, right? You either need to support yourself, you need something to make your game, and then make the game and sell the game. So those are the four things that any self-publishing group can do and has to do these days. So to me, it's not good enough generally to just develop a game. You also have to know how to sell the game, how to get it out there, how to make it successful.
How to let people know.
How to let people know, exactly.
Yeah.
And then when you think about how games are right now, I mean, do you guys play mobile games?
Yeah.
No.
A lot.
I have. I mean, I play a couple, but nothing like.
What do you play on mobile?
So I play a lot of old games too in mobile. Like I still have Final Fantasy 7 and 6 on my phone. But I also play tap games, the one where you just keep tapping and you just keep getting points and points and so on. Yeah.
Like the piano games?
Ooh,
I love
no, not even that.
You mean when you're grinding?
This is you're literally just tapping and then you get points.
Okay. That sounds fun.
Addicting as hell. I'm sorry for saying that word. Super addicting though.
I mean, I've done a lot of in the day Facebook games, which were essentially that, right?
Yeah.
Facebook games were.
Oh man, Facebook games. Ooh, before when Facebook was new for me. Farmville and what was the other one?
Candy Crush.
Farmville. No, Candy Crush was Facebook originally.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know Candy Crush was
Facebook. But that's
Candy Crush ruins friendships.
Those are free to play games, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole different way of making games. When you have to do a free to play game, it's a whole different mindset when you're developing the game as a designer, because all of a sudden if you're the designer, you're responsible for getting people to pay, right? All of a sudden you have to make sure that you're putting features in the game, whatever it is, you know. And there's a lot of tricks you can do, you know. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
We got some cool stuff coming up in chat. Red Strike asks, in your opinion, what is the easiest platform to self-publish a game?
Mobile game is the easiest, and of mobile, Android is the easiest, because Android doesn't have. It's not necessarily the best if you want to make money, to be honest, because it doesn't monetize.
But it's the easiest to get it.
There's no like Apple will vet your stuff, right?
Right.
They'll review it and they'll reject it, you know, or Android doesn't reject it so much, so it's a lot easier. Anybody can publish.
So
on
Android mobile games, Red Strike.
So this is my big issue, the big thing that I like go over with my students is like, you know, I'm a creative person, right? I mean, as a filmmaker, you know, you write, you direct, whatever. You know, as a developer, I was always on the creative side. I'm basically a producer, right? So I'm not a marketer, although I teach marketing occasionally. But I usually teach the business side from a creative perspective. And the question is, why, if you're creative, do you need to know about business? That's a big question.
And that's something that I don't do video games, I'm an actor, and I struggle with that, you know, to balance like the creativity and still like being able to market yourself. There's a difference between having just talent and then having a talent for marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. But in video games specifically, like I think there's some major things that have happened over the past few years that make it really important that you understand the business. You know, because I don't know, I'm not sure your focus, right, at least today for the news, was like pretty big games, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the market anymore, right? The
what
market.
Do you mean?
Well, there are more mobile games. There's many mobile games being made as console games.
Yeah.
So the whole like world of gaming is huge now.
Yeah.
It's not just console. It's not just PC.
Right.
It's also handheld. It's also all different kinds of screens. It's also VR. I mean, it's also, you know, location-based gaming. There's so many things that you can do that makes it more complicated in a way, because it used to be you make a game in the 90s and it would be on a computer. That's the only way you could do it. Literally, like in 1994, Nintendo was obviously a console, but basically it was mostly PC games. You know, so Blizzard. PC. They were all PC. Sierra. These are all people that were part of the Vivendi
King's
team.
Quest.
You know, exactly. But it's really changed. Let me look at what these. So
Spike Feed says money is the reason.
the big. What's that?
With the Illuminati.
But that's what I said right here. Making games is expensive.
Yeah.
It's hugely expensive. You know. So how I teach my class actually in when the classes of publishing class is over the semester everybody creates a plan, a deck to raise money that they could go to investor to raise money for their game. So it's fun. It's fun. Because making games is expensive.
Yes.
There's development, there's production, there could be licensing. I mean, I've done a lot of licensing, you know, and if you license, they get a cut of the revenue. There's marketing, there's distribution, you know. You need a lot of money. I mean, you can do a game. I think I did maybe the smallest game I did was a little mobile game in the early days of iPhone, and it cost me $30,000 to $40,000.
Wow.
Very cheap. That's
cheap.
really
Okay.
not doable.
I don't.
$30,000 and $40,000.
That's a lot.
Oh, I don't know. Isn't it?
It is.
I mean, I guess considering
we're like
how much
late
it's gonna
20s,
be.
early 30s, and our audience is probably in like their teens to early 20s,
Well-
and we're like $1,000. That's rent.
Okay, this was with BBC, so it was
that's
it was
a
a
big-
Top Gear game, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you know, we had some money. We had and you know, most of the games were a lot more expensive than that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you look at Destiny 500,000. If you look at like any AAA
That's
game,
true.
they're $40 million. I mean, it's 500 million.
Yeah.
You know, they're $40-50 million. A mobile game, you know, they tend to be like $250,000 or more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a good mobile game, like not a good one, but like a professional, successful one, like what's Clash of Clans.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't cost $30,000. That costs a few $1 million. Right?
Yeah, especially the
really?
marketing
Oh wow.
must be expensive.
No, just the development.
Yeah.
And the marketing. You know.
I'm just saying, like, because there's so much ads consistently pushed to me
Man.
from Clash of Clans. that I would
Milkner
always-
better not show his face around here. I see you, Milkner. Rude. Talking about, I've heard
Old
about
people.
King's Quest from old people.
So the reason why.
Okay.
But one reason to need to know about the business of games and how to get your game out there is because ultimately, I mean, there's a lot of kind of games. There's art games, which I love, that you don't, maybe you can do things via like getting grants or whatever, right? And you don't have to make your money back. But generally, if you're in the business, the idea is to make your money back, right? And so, to know what the business of games is important because you're going to be asking people for a lot of money. And you need to have to assure them that they're going to make it back.
Right, yeah.
And maybe even a profit.
Right?
That's
hopefully a profit too.
Because then you run into stuff like what happened with Scalebound.
What happened with Scalebound?
It took too long. It was costing Microsoft too much money, and it was a single console release. Like it was only going to be for Microsoft. That was it. Like they weren't going to go cross-platform.
Yeah.
And because Microsoft was like, you're taking too much time. This is costing too much money. It was cheaper for Microsoft to just pull the plug than to try and sell it to someone else because they would have had to sell it for so much exponentially higher just to recoup their losses. And it had already been being worked on for like 2 or 3 years. And it was almost ready for release, but it still needed another 6-8 months. And Microsoft said, sorry, we can't do it anymore.
That's a hard decision to make, because sometimes you have to cut your losses. Because you just realize there's no way, no matter how much, we put more money into this, there's no way we can make it back. The fact is, it's a big business now, right? It's a big business, and people are worried, about making it. If you look at big games, most of them don't succeed, right? Most of them don't make their money back. And that's why a lot of publishers like EA, most of them, pulling back on console games, and they were going all in for mobile, right? A lot of them, like EA. I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but there's a reason for that. For instance, EA, I'm not sure if they're doing this right now, but they pull back on their console, and they said we're going to put a lot more money into mobile because a console game takes. Say you spend $40 million on a console game, you have to sell a lot to make that back. Versus a mobile game, you can make a mobile game for $1 million. So you can make 40 mobile games compared to one console game, and so you have a lot more chances of making that money back.
Yeah, but the mobile games, aren't they only $5 or something for a download? They're not.
They're zero now.
And they've they all have the in-game monetization.
They're almost all free to play. There's almost none that aren't free to play anymore. And that's interesting.
It's so weird to me that that's the decision that developers are making, because I always imagine that the lifespan for those kinds of games, for example, wouldn't be that long. People don't really
it's
there is a barrier eventually wherein you'll have to spend too much money to keep playing that game, and that's kind of gonna end up stopping people from being able to play.
It's a very odd genre right now. It's something that I want to talk. I kind of I do a lot of free to play games, in fact, and it's a very odd situation because a free to play game, it's free. There's usually a lot of content over time. It develops over time. But the vast majority of people don't spend any money in the game. I guess what percentage of people of all your audience?
Less than 1%.
A little bit more than that.
2 to 3%.
Okay. Generally 2 to 3%.
Okay.
Wow.
97% or more never put a dime into your game, right? So you're relying on all that 3% to make back all your money.
That's weird.
So they have something called whales. Have you heard of the concept of whales?
Whales.
So whales are, if you're so it's only 2 to 3%, and of that 2 to 3%, there's a smaller percentage that spend a lot of money. I guess I could say this.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
In one class, I had a student who played Clash of Clans, and one person in his clan, his clan, spent $7,000 playing the game. That's a whale because they make up for every whale is I think it's a term for gambling, right? Whales. It's when people are big gamblers. So So they spend $7,000. So that's the business that's in. But the interesting thing about free to play is that the developer, the designers have to incorporate into their design the desire for people to spend in that game. So the design becomes the business, which is why I find it kind of interesting. But I just want to also say, there's all these different genres right now. So you can say, okay, I want to make a game. There's a huge question. It's not a PC game anymore. It could be anything. It could be on mobile, which is kind of the choice of things these days. But it can be MMOs. It can be different technologies. It can be toys. Toys think something called Toys to Life, which are like the amiibos, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways that games exist.
Yeah, we're talking next week. We're doing something on motion capture and the movement of the industry towards virtual reality and augmented reality, which I see you have on there, and it's just it's such an interesting thing because it's like how I feel like, especially now talking to you, I feel like it's almost the big game developers' kind of final attempt, like. How much further can you raise the bar for consoles? Because you've got 4K consoles now. You've got so immersive content, and it's like, how are they going to make that any more enticing?
Yeah.
They have to make it VR. They have to make it augmented reality, because the thing is we're always here. We're always in our phones. I don't play mobile games. I don't, because I don't want to be on my phone that much, but that's a personal choice. And there are people are dying playing Pokemon Go. Like, calm down. It's a game. But
Smart moves, you guys.
But like, I feel like VR and AR are the natural and only progression if people want to stay in the kind of the epic console game territory.
It could be true. I would agree. It's like movies. Movies, it's hard to get people to go to the theaters, right? Because it's all like downloadable. It's all streamable. So to get people into theaters, in fact, you do things like 3D movies.
Yeah.
Or you do that thing that they have down in the Regal Theater.
The XD or whatever?
4D. What is it called?
The 4D.
I haven't been on it yet.
4DX
But
or
people
whatever.
say,
they shake your chairs, they sprinkle you with water. And
but that's
blow you
all
away.
about getting. It's the same idea. It's like, what can you do that's different in the theaters that you can't
But that's
do
the
at
thing.
home?
Like, I don't want to sound like a non-believer to both of you, but like, I always same as to movies as well. It's like, it's always. There are concepts that are just way too good that you can't go away from it. It doesn't have to have fancy bells and whistles like VR or augmented reality. Like, as long as the idea of the game is good, it can probably be profitable.
I do totally agree with that. Think about if you're making a free-to-play game, you have to think about like why people play the game,
Right?
and then what they would purchase that, because there's different reasons for playing the game. I sort of look at 4 reasons why people play games. One is they want to get challenged, right? That's definitely one of them. One, they want to socialize.
Yeah.
And that's big. That's a huge thing right now, especially with like larger audiences.
Like any kind of like multiplayer aspect of it.
Well, it could be multiplayer, but it could also be Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people play Candy Crush,
That's true.
and they play with their friends.
Yeah.
The other is I'm gonna miss one of these. And so we have to be challenged, to socialize, to express yourself, and then I also see one as to not to learn, but to experience. What literature does to you.
Yeah.
What a good game does to you.
Yeah.
Things that are like sort of revelations.
I guess I just can't see how that's possible on. And again,
On a
I
mobile
don't play mobile games, so I am literally talking from zero experience. But the reason I don't play mobile games is because I just don't see how I can be connected. Like if Last of Us was on a mobile platform and I'm sitting here trying to.
But it is a different platform, so it's a different game, right?
Yeah.
You know when Fallout 4 came out, right?
Yes.
Do you play-
And they had Fallout Shelter,
Fallout
which I
Shelter.
spent a lot of hours in.
Well, and it was based on another game called Tiny Tower.
Yeah.
You know
I also
that?
played that game.
Okay, I played Tiny Tower. I didn't play, but it's a different game,
Yeah.
right? It's the same brand, but on a different platform, and it's just a way of expanding their
That's
brand,
that I understand and that I get. It makes it more of an.
But free to play isn't. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But free to play isn't. It's not just on mobile, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Steam has a lot of free to play games. Console has free to play games because you still have to think about what people want to buy. And it's tough because there's on free to play. There's like the ones that aren't real core games that you can play to win. You can pay to win.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want that, But think about what people want in the game, If they want to be challenged, if they want to express themselves, what would just try to get in their head to think about why they play, and then theoretically, what would they purchase to do that? So if you look at League of Legends, you can just buy skins, right? So, but people are playing with each other. And characters. But they're playing live with each other. So they want to kind of like show off. So, but that's the reason for it, you know. That's the motivation. You know.
And to customize it, because you want the person, you want your avatar in Overwatch to look like you. You want your avatar in League of Legends to look like you.
Can't tell you how much money I've spent on Overwatch skins, on just the loot boxes of Overwatch, and like Guild Wars 2 skins.
Yeah.
So much money.
I just wanted to talk about, you know, very quickly go through why it's important. You know, so we talked about it's expensive.
Yeah.
The whole genres are changing. There's lots of different types of games to do right now.
Yeah.
Technology is evolving. It's really important. You know, it's a huge part of the business. Like every 7 years, a new console comes out, right?
Freaking Xbox S? What are you doing? I just bought the one. Like, calm down.
But there's console, but then there's also all these things. There's also all the handhelds, and now there's VR. There's Toys to Life.
There's what do you call them?
Mobile.
The toys like Amiibos and stuff, and the Disney Infinity toys and stuff.
They call them Toys to Life, I think. Toys to Life.
Okay.
You know, that's the kind of like the bucket they have on it.
Okay.
You know? But they're not necessarily that successful. Infinity stopped.
I've never even heard of them.
Infinity stopped
making really.
Them. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like sock'em boppers? Are they like?
It started off actually with Vivendi, with Activision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Activision did Spyro. They took Spyro and they made something called
Skylanders.
And it's like little toys that you use in the game. So it has like a platform. You hook it up to whatever your console.
Yeah, so you put your toy, put it on the Skylanders, saying, "I'm not giving this to you. This is mine." So sorry.
And then you're basically playing like an RPG style game for kids.
Right.
And so if you all of a sudden need to have like the dragon, you put the dragon on the platform and it shows up in your game.
Okay.
And you play the dragon.
Okay. I getcha.
So the idea is you make money by selling the toys, and then you make money via the software itself.
Let me
the
eat
games
this
itself.
right
You
now.
know.
I know like a lot of other people adopted this, like the Disney Infinity people and the Amiibo people for Nintendo, and I'm surprised that they didn't really make that much money because they jumped into it. Like they jumped into that market. And
but think about why didn't it make money? Because I would say, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, but number one, it's really expensive. You know, you could buy those toys online like at Amazon, but you have to make the toys, you have to distribute the toys. It's really, I mean, I did one toy actually. It was a Jurassic Park game.
Okay.
It was a Jurassic Park game. It was called Scan Command. It was like the late 90s. And we made a toy that was a little kind of like scanner that you would go around and you would take like candy and you would scan barcodes. And those barcodes would be then translated as attributes for your dinosaurs.
Wow, for the 90s.
They would then fight other dinosaurs.
That sounds freaking awesome.
But it was really hard. It was very innovative at the time. But it was really hard because we had to get those things made.
Yeah.
So it all got made in China, and there's always issues with like production, whatever, and then shipped back. So it's a big investment, versus like just putting a game up on Steam or on mobile or on download for a console, and it doesn't cost anything to do that, So it's just it's a whole infrastructure you have to deal with, But just very quickly, the big one I kind of want to talk about is this. There's the audience for games is changing all the time. It's huge now. I mean, it used to only be
Paul Rudd is famous.
Is he there? Oh yeah, he's right there. But I'm not sure what I got these.
Young Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
But you look at originally it was like a kid's thing. When I was a kid, video games were for kids. I honestly had like an Odyssey, and I played like Pong and stuff like that. And we were like,
you had a Magnavox Odyssey. Oh my gosh.
And
cool.
But then it changed. Once consoles came out, especially, it became much more sophisticated, and the audience got a little older. And then from there, mobile and Facebook totally blew it out. So now, like, do you know who plays most? Well, Facebook isn't really a gaming platform, but if you look at those kind of casual games, who plays those games?
Grandmothers. I don't know.
Yes.
Parents. My mom.
Mothers or women is like 60% of that audience, And in console games,
this is why I don't have a lot of chick friends, because I swear to God, you send me a Candy Crush invite and you are unfriended.
That is how I'm going to test our friendship.
You are banhammed. I know you just added me on Facebook.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you say I want to make a game, don't just think of it as a game for like a 14-year-old or a 25-year-old. It can be a game for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I did games for like 18-month-old kids at one
Yeah.
point, or it could be
Really?
games for your grandmother.
How do you make games for that? For
Isn't that
It
the
was,
Teletubbies
uh,
thing?
The Teletubbies,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually have an interesting story because I did the game. It was a PC game. Then we made it up for PlayStation, PSX, the first PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was at E3. They actually showed it at PlayStation, Sony highlighted it at E3.
That's awesome.
So what happened is everybody would come to the booth, say, "My God, it's Teletubbies," because Teletubbies were really big back then.
Yeah.
And they would go and they would start playing. And they'd say, "But how do I kill them? How do I kill them?" Because that's the association they have with console was like shooting and whatever.
Yeah, I remember the first
Especially
time.
during that time, like PlayStation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Twisted Metal and everything that was
Well,
happening during that time.
my first PlayStation 1 was was the first time I remember getting my mom to play a video game. Because we had an Atari, but she never played it. And so we went through the Super NES and all that. And when I got to PlayStation, there was a game called Road Rash. I don't know if you remember this. It was like it's pretty dope motorcycle racing game. You can hit people with chains. I don't know. Anyway, I got my mom to play it for like 1/2 of 1 second, but she ended up getting like motion sick. And I was like,
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was like, old people, gosh. And I think my mom was maybe like 10 years older than I am now when she was playing.
My mother would play Angry Birds, and she was 80. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Angry Birds. So in fact I see old people over here,
Old.
playing games. So what I'm saying is when you say I want to make a game,
That lady in the
think
bottom
about-
right does not look happy with her game.
Well, that's the
She's-
Farmville.
That is the face I make when you send me a Farmville request.
We never just like, crops.
But originally they were games that you play by yourself. Now you play them with multiple people. You
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
them intergenerationally. If
Yeah.
you look at like Nintendo, what they've done, like when you think of like Wii, what do you think of?
I think,
I didn't
of
get one.
Wii bowling.
Oh wait, we not we.
But
Okay,
what's
sorry.
that game? What's that game?
Wii co-playing games that
it's
you
like
can
a family
play.
game.
Yeah.
It's a party game. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Party
And that's a genre that's very interesting. So the final thing is, I think this is the final thing, is distribution. Distributing games is very different now than it was 20 years ago.
Right.
So it used to be just in stores. I mean, you like them in stores, right?
Yes.
But most people don't buy them that way anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
most people
now
suck.
digital downloads, but then mobile games, and then online social games, Games to Life. Actually, it's called Games to Life, not Toys to Life.
Oh, okay.
Games to
But it
Life.
could be Toys to Life, whatever.
Interchangeable.
But, this is all different ways you can get games out there. So it's changed so much that it's important that if you want to make games, like how you're going to get it out there. So that's why I think for a developer, for a creative person, it's important to know the business, because it's basically the business is in flux.
Yeah.
And now there's no more barrier to entry like Steam. There's no more barrier to entry. Anybody who makes a game can publish their game in some place.
Yeah.
It could be on mobile or Android, whatever, but you can publish your game someplace.
Yeah.
It may not be successful.
But you can publish
That's the
it.
biggest thing, but you can publish it.
Huh.
Another question is, how do you make it successful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I think number one is coming up with a good idea.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want to do your?
Yeah. Oh, we're
activity?
moving into the activities. First, production
Activities.
wants me to.
Oh, actually, there was one other
Oh,
quick thing.
I see games.
Just so you know, business.
I see lots of.
The way that you make money is different now as well. It used to be. I put these because Diablo originally you would buy Diablo, right? You would buy the game.
Yeah,
in the
those are
box.
three. That's the same company breaking the model 3 different times.
It is.
Yeah.
It is because originally it's just a game. You pay money, you get the game in a
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Where you download the game,
And then World of Warcraft
was
came out, it's
subscription.
wow.
Exactly, MMO subscription based.
$30.
And then Hearthstone. What is Hearthstone? Do you
I
play
have,
it?
yeah, I have lots of packs that I've paid for. as well.
Okay, it's a free
I'm,
to
I'm,
play, it's a
I'm
free
an
to play
addict
game.
in a lot of ways.
So even Blizzard, who is very, they traditionally weren't like open to like new ideas of this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were only a PC game,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They've expanded as well. So now Hearthstone is a free to play game.
Yeah.
So even they have like had to like adjust to what the new business models are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so cool. We are going to move into the activity section.
Okay, so this is not still on. So I have here in my hat not the hat I've ever actually
It's a
worn.
lovely hat.
I have one at Halloween, I think. But I have 7 different game titles.
Okay.
Okay.
I want you guys to choose one. We could do probably a few of them.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And a surprise. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I
that's
will
fine.
pull that out. I'm gonna choose one for the audience first, because that way you guys can start kind of getting ideas and moving as we go.
Yeah.
Your idea title. This is the title of your game. Is Think Quick.
Okay.
So, audience, this is what you're working with. Think quick. Okay, now we'll pull ours.
It can be any. It can really be anything.
Yeah.
It can be anything.
Literally anything.
But think about the kind of game, the genre of the game. Is there a story to it? But think about the genre of the game, where we would launch it, and how you would pay for it. Those are the sort of
Okay,
Alright.
so those are your 3 things. Let's go over that again. So, the genre of the game, where you would launch it, and how you would pay for it.
like so the genre, the platform, and how we would make money.
Genre, platform, how to make money. Your topic is Think Quick.
Okay.
And production will go ahead and put up what we want for those 3 things as well. Okay? You
Okay.
guys? Yes. Okay.
Oh, this is cool. I didn't know. Okay, so
Yeah,
you're-
in a neat down there.
Oh.
Very
yeah.
cool. Okay, I'll let you choose for us.
Okay.
Since I chose for audience. Don't screw it up, Charlie.
Are there like weird names here?
No, they're all acceptable.
He's like
Okay.
Bubble Butt.
I did them all so that they could be really any genre. What is this?
Worlds of the West Wilds.
Yay!
First of all, think
Pew,
so.
pew, pew.
Obviously, I came up with that because it does.
It's a difficult one.
No. Because to me, it has the title has a very there's something obvious you could do with it.
Yeah.
But let's think about what would be obvious.
The obvious for me would be MMO,
Exactly.
Yeah.
but I don't want to do it now because it's too obvious. Is it a thing?
No, it could be whatever.
Okay.
What about I don't know what you would call it, but like how we did the kind of the mechanism for Overcooked and the mechanism for Pit People, like how there is different, like you have to like
Ooh, a
You know?
turn-based thing, no?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want a turn-based strategy game?
yeah, but like, and then like the worlds of the West Wilds is like you have to go and explore different sections of the map to get to the next level.
Okay.
Okay.
You know
So
what
it's
I
an
mean?
exploration game.
So an exploration,
But not an
turn-based strategy game,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Wild West themed.
So the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that I always ask people to do is to come up with a log line. Okay, I know this is more for
Pay attention,
For a film,
audience.
maybe? Yeah.
but I think it's good for eventually you want to pitch your game, right? You're gonna have to pitch somebody your game. So to have a log line, which is like 1 or 2 sentences that describes your game, so that you meet someone in the elevator and say, what are you working on? You say, oh, I'm doing this game.
Okay.
Let's think of a log.
I got a log line.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't have
my.
anything to write with, unfortunately, but
I need a weird name. Jessica.
That's not a weird name.
Okay,
You
no.
are definitely from the
Bethany.
Philippines.
Bethany.
Bethany is a little bit weirder.
Okay.
You don't hear that. Ingrid would be another strange one.
Ooh, okay. Ingrid. Okay. Ingrid is searching high and low in the different Western universes to find her missing daughter.
okay.
And avenge the death of
Oh,
her.
you're
I don't know.
getting deeper.
And avenge the death of her husband.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go with that.
Yeah.
But
To be honest,
that is Fallout 4. You literally just described Fallout 4.
So this is the question.
Well, no universes. There you go.
So to be honest, when I wrote this out, I was thinking Westworld because it's like the
Yeah,
Westerns
yeah.
are kind of big.
Yeah.
But that sounds like Bethany is a good name.
Yeah.
It's unusual. So
More Fallout.
so that's
Bethesda.
Yeah.
so that's just
Bethesda E.
so that's just the log line for the story.
Yeah.
Right, which is important. So I think that's a good start to it. Now let's think about the next part of this, which is something you call. So this is all about selling it, right? A USP. What is you know what a USP is, or Ps? Unique selling points.
I was gonna say
Or unique
the
selling
thing you plug in the
proposition.
computer. Are you
What
listening?
makes it different than anything else out there? Because you immediately said Fallout 4.
Yeah.
What makes it different? Like, are there features in it that make it totally different
Okay.
that
Yeah.
you've never seen before? For
Right.
instance. And usually
Okay,
I
you
want
wanna
to
take this one since I
I
just
have
did
like
the-
3 or 4 of those. Like 3 or 4 unique elements to the
Okay.
game that you could use to sell it.
Cool. Let's run to chat really quick before we lose, because it scrolls and then we can't see it again. So theirs was Think Quick. Spike says it's a survival RPG released on Steam as an early access model. DCT says it sounds like a mini party game like WarioWare, probably a Nintendo Switch release. Traditional $30 to $60 dollars per game.
I like that one.
I like the
Party
first
game.
one, survival RPG. What it's called, Think Quick. Like that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
because they're zombies.
So genre is.
Oh, she's afraid of zombies. Something to use in the future.
They're like production's dying right now. Nick cannot literally can't even. Right
Zombies
now.
are all over the place, though. You can't.
Yeah, I know they are.
No, they are. Why do you think I don't play video games on my phone? Anyway, Red Strike says the genre is RPG, the platform is PC, and it is released through Founders Packs and microtransactions. Awesome. Okay, so while you guys, I see Spike has already got his log line going. While DCT and Red Strike get their log lines for their games,
we'll wait for the other log lines so we can do them all together.
Yeah. Okay, so we just did our log line, which is Bethesda-y.
Yeah.
Is
Bethesda-y?
No, okay, Bethany.
Bethany. It's a good Wild West. It's a good
it
Wild
is.
West name.
It is.
Bethany
My
is
name's
like
Bethany.
searching high and low in the different universes to find her missing daughter and avenge her.
Her husband's
Dead
dead.
husband.
Okay, and now let's get 3 features that are unique.
Okay.
Or not even, just like different. Make it into a unique game. Is it multiplayer?
Yes, I think it's cooperative.
Okay, cooperative play.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's cooperative play instead
Yeah.
of just multiplayer.
But cooperative play is good.
Yeah. So I think cooperative play, and I think puzzle solving more than shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I think so too. Because at those moments, it's kind of like the reasons why you would be, like how to go to the next place.
Well, do you
how to
remember?
go
Did
and
you
be-
ever play? Not like watch the show, but actually play the game Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, yes.
It,
I mean, not as a kid, though, but-
yeah. But it's an American game, but it was really cool. Like you had to be in relatively well versed in geography, and more or less well versed in the history, like generic world history and generic kind of strategy, like war strategy. And it was a really interesting game because you couldn't just dumbly click. It was a board
Just
game,
randomly click, but you have to think about it.
So how about as a real a unique selling point is that it's real life history. Immerse yourself in real life history
I
as
think that'd
opposed
be
to
cool.
like World of Warcraft, which is like orc whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But real life history. That's interesting.
I
was thinking of but the Oregon Trail, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
As well.
I was like, it could be cool like Oregon Trail, but as you're on the trail, you can't progress to the next world of the West. What is it called? The West Wilds. You can't progress to the next world in the West Wilds until you have figured out the clue of like why do you need to get what happened to your husband here or
And I guess at this point, we can also start inserting historical Western figures that are really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so the fact is, the story, if it has the story itself is unique,
Yeah.
So that's one big way of selling it. If the story is interesting, that's a major selling point.
Think quick. Just like the title tells you, each minute. Oh wait, no, that's not a log line. The Red Strikes.
Yeah.
Okay, log line.
No,
Think.
DCT, that's right.
Oh.
Just like the title tells you, each mini
mini-
game requires you to react quickly, compete against your friends.
Okay.
That's their selling. That's their log line.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
To be honest, what inspired me for that title was Heads Up. To be honest,
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking of a console of a mobile game that was kind of like a party game kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it could be whatever.
Spike Jet, the one that I missed, it said that you need to think quick to survive. Bandits are constantly hunting you. Outwit nature and humanity to make it through each night. Alrighty, cool.
What would that be? What?
That was the one that he was the survival game.
Okay.
I can't remember I think it was Steam, and then it was a free, an early access.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Red Strikes was Think Quick is a game where you need to be wow, okay, it's a novel. Dang. Think Quick is a game where you need to be creative and think a way to complete your quest. NPCs don't give you hints on how to complete it. You need gold to complete a quest, and you only have feathers in your backpack. Find a way to sell the feathers to make enough gold to complete the quest.
Okay.
Huh.
So
that sounds like puzzle solving as well.
Yeah.
So that game to me screams free to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
The
Yeah,
Red-
and I
oh,
think
Red Strikes.
I think he said.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Did he say
I think Red Strikes was a free to play and a microtransactions.
Okay.
Cool.
RPG.
Good thinking,
yeah.
Rich, right?
Look, my memory is so on point tonight. It's all that chocolate, y'all.
So what platform?
Have you eaten yours? Oh man.
So you have a
so
game
eaten
that
mine.
it's a pretty accessible game. So it could be a really big audience.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be just whatever. It could be old adults and young people.
Mm-hmm.
Free to play. What platform would it be on?
Are you talking about ours, the West?
No, I'm thinking about this free to play
this
game.
one.
Probably mobile, right?
I would say mobile.
Yeah, I would say mobile.
Because it's easy to do. Relatively speaking, it's easy to monetize that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you actually look at here, just so I found this kind of interesting. This is looking at what sells.
It's just chocolate.
What sells these days? What are the biggest genres? Action is the biggest. Shooters, sports games.
How is
role-playing.
action and shooter their own thing?
It is. I don't know.
That's
Actually,
weird.
I don't really know.
That's very
I don't
weird.
Really know. But more importantly is platform. And if you look here, this is going from like 2015 to 2018.
Dang.
Look at mobile. Mobile is becoming much bigger, right? If you look at console, which is right here, the light blue, it's actually maybe getting a little smaller.
That makes me
piece
so
of the
sad.
pie,
PC doesn't look like it's moving.
PC is actually moving because of Steam.
It's getting bigger.
Only because of Steam is getting bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's taken over a little bit from console. But that tells you if you're going to make a game for 2018, going mobile may not be a bad choice because it's where people are going. So if you look at the world, for instance, if you look at the US, it's just about equal. A little bit less people play mobile than console. Not people, but a little bit less revenue on mobile than console. But if you go to China, much more mobile playing. They make much more money on mobile than on console. So
I have a question though. Isn't there crossover in some of those things though? Like online is its own thing, but shouldn't it also kind of like cross over to PC and console?
Yeah.
Online. Well, console can have online components, but online that's really looking at like MMOs, that kind of World
But
of
wouldn't that be a
Warcraft and
PC
kind of
then?
Oh, it would be. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about.
And then I also, on the same and kind of in the same vein of it, mobile gaming. So everything that is VR is through like the Oculus Rift or what's the HTC Vive, which is this. Bink,
Right.
You're right here. Is that considered mobile gaming, or
I
is
would say
that its own thing?
I mean, this is just projections of 2018, so it probably doesn't include that.
No, well, that's so. So this does or it does not.
It probably
include,
doesn't include that.
That's so
VR
interesting
gaming.
because it's like that's going to be its own thing.
Yeah, it could be its own thing.
Because you can't play the mobile. You can't play the VR without the VR headset and
Right.
the VR setup.
I mean, if you look at like numbers for like where VR is going, it's kind of incredible. I'm not sure I believe it. I don't know if I believe
it, buddy.
Also,
because it's like you see the line and it starts because right
Just-
now nobody plays, right? Nobody has the
yeah, I
very
don't.
few.
I know one guy.
And then it looks like go 3 or 4 years out, it's like the biggest thing ever. So if you're looking for investing,
Yeah.
that's where people are putting their money.
It's such an odd creature
they
for
think
me.
it's going to be big.
Like VR is such an odd creature for me in general because right now the entry price point is like so high.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, the HTC or the Oculus.
HTC's too expensive.
No, the Oculus Rift. I got my Oculus for $50 when I signed a new plan. No, I got my Oculus for free when I signed my contract, re-up my contract with AT&T. They had this huge promotion.
But how can you play it? Because that's a problem with like
I plug my phone into my headset.
Oh, it's your
and then
phone
I
thing?
put my thing, and then I turn the little thing on, and then it maps my body movements, and like, it's like, okay, here's your selection screen.
No,
I'll
but
just
this
bring
is
it
running
in.
off of the PC or it's running off the.
You should have a
Phone.
whole.
Oh.
You should have a
No.
whole thing on VR.
We are.
It's kind of cool.
You guys have such a freaking cool one. Holy crud. I wish I
What is it?
pulled this. Tribes of Terra Nova. That sounds awesome.
Wait, for them? That one's
for
for them.
them.
Okay.
Dang it. Okay, so audience, Tribes of Terra Nova. We're going to go again. So what's the genre?
It's a sequel to Avatar.
What's the genre? What is the platform that you'll release it on? And what is the price point for it? And also, you may as well start thinking about a logline. So
yeah.
let's do all that all in one go. So genre, platform, price point, logline.
Okay.
Go!
No, your turn.
Oh, but I pulled for them.
I pulled for them.
I pulled for them. You pulled for us. I'm just trying to be fair, Charles.
Happy Town Resort, Atlantis. Awesome.
What in God's name? What? Okay.
Great.
Okay,
This
come up
is-
with something.
Ours is Happy Town Resort Atlanta. Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Atlanta would have been much funnier.
I mean, that would have worked. Yeah.
So, here's here's the thing.
Okay.
It's kind of like a SimCity kind of builder kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like I don't mean SimCity like the normal SimCity that I played. I mean like the mobile version of SimCity, wherein you just build entire buildings already and just like, okay, this one's the factory for, or sorry, I should put it in the context of this. But for this one, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put a swimming resort part. I'm gonna put a swimming pool portion in my resort now, or I'm gonna improve my resort by having a, I don't know, like a casino thing. So it's like an improvement, like trying to make a resort by like resource management and like picking which kinds of things, like I guess what the people want to like. So like kind of like
it's a simulation.
like
SimCity,
simulation game. SimCity
like Roller Coaster
simulation.
Tycoon, but
Exactly.
resort.
I mean, it's fine. Honestly, they do well. People love these games. Why? Why do people play those games?
I would assume because there'd be some kind of attachment for the city that they're making.
Absolutely, it's
right?
creative. It's a creative.
Yeah.
It's like Minecraft's
So-
the same thing.
Yeah.
I actually went very dark with this.
What?
Well, do you guys remember the Nuketown level in Modern 2?
Yeah.
That's what I pictured, is that it's Happy Town, welcome to Happy Town. And really,
But it's like a dystopian.
it's like super dystopian and
Okay.
dark, and like it's the lost city of Atlantis, so
Yeah.
that's like your location.
Like infected
Yeah.
merman.
Yeah, and like it was originally planned as like an undersea housing community, but it's gotten overtaken. Like that's where I
So
went with it.
It's like a resort area.
Yeah.
Like an old person's resort area. And
Yeah,
it's,
and
Oh.
it's just overtaken by
It could be like-
undersea monsters.
It could be like the latest Aliens game, but it's in an
Or-
underwater.
Actually, it doesn't even have to be underwater, because Atlantis, right? It's the sunken city, but it was the sunken city. It's like a paradise, right? It was supposed to be a paradise.
Yeah.
So why can't this take place in like outer space and Atlantis be like the housing colony on
Absolutely.
the
Okay,
next
let's go against the
planet?
grain. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go Happy Town Resort Atlantis is actually
So let's think about both of them, though.
Okay.
So yours, what platform would you have yours on?
mine is PC and console.
And who would buy it?
Oh, all the nerds.
Okay,
All
so
the sci-fi
it's a
nerds.
gamer. It's a gamer.
Yeah, it's a gamer
game.
thing.
It's a gamer game. Okay, so that makes sense. PC console is perfect. You know.
Yeah.
And how would people pay?
Well, I guess if we have to freaking download everything, it'll be downloadable. I
you
would
have to
rather
pay.
like, yeah, it would be
Pay for it.
it would be like $60 like all the games are today.
Okay. Can't do that for under $1 million, but you know.
Oh, are we
Yeah.
supposed to be saying under $1 million
No,
with this?
but
Oh, I
no.
didn't. I was like, I did not
Just
hear
out
that.
of that, yeah, just saying. That
But
you
it's a
can't do
big,
it.
it's a big budget game.
Yeah.
So it's just fine, you know.
Okay.
So, and yours?
Mine's probably gonna be mobile too.
Mobile. Yeah.
Why?
Why?
I'm definitely making
Why?
this for my mom.
Oh yeah.
But why mobile?
Wow, mobile, because I feel like, okay, this is my experience from my last big investment in a game that's kind of like a city building game. I played the last SimCity game. Did not do very well. I personally still loved how making it, but I don't think that there's that much of a market into making games like that anymore. I don't think people are totally into it anymore. Except probably for Civ, but that's kind of a totally different play as compared to just making a city. This is
What
definitely
about like Minecraft though? Minecraft's a
true.
building game.
But that's not mobile.
yeah, but
Yeah,
and the
it's-
Oh,
Yeah.
Minecraft is mobile?
Yeah.
Well, originally it was PC, but
Oh,
mostly,
okay, yeah,
people
I-
mostly played on mobile now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I only ever
It's on
played
an
it
iPad.
PC.
But,
Oh, okay.
but to me, you say you want your mother to play it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that says mobile because it's so accessible.
Yes.
You know, if you have a game that you want, like, think about mobile. Like everyone has a phone right now.
Yeah.
You know, so you basically have this huge audience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so your game, it's going to be obviously a much smaller audience, right?
Yeah.
So mobile, and then how would you raise money for it? I mean, how would people pay in the game?
Oh, probably gonna be in-game transactions. Probably
kinda
it's probably
has
gonna
to
be
be.
like, I don't know, gems, like
Yeah.
one of those systems where like you just make up a currency inside the game that isn't something that you can just regularly get, or you can,
You can get it, but it would be in small.
yeah, very small quantities.
Yeah. Like, oh, you've been playing for 4 hours. Here's 10 coins.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that motivates people to pay in the game, like do IAP in the game, is if they can show their friends what they're doing. So they
Right.
want to like show off,
Ah,
right? So
yeah.
you can get the game so it has a multiplayer component, so that they can, you know, you basically can build your resort or whatever it is, and then your mother can show her sister or something.
What's your
Yeah.
log line?
Huh? my logline for this story? I don't know. Oh, you are the new mayor of the... Oh, no, not mayor. You're the new CEO of Happy Town Resort, and you will have to find a new way to impress your mother, who is a better CEO than you. There you go. Oh, that's the villain of the story.
The mom?
The mom who's like...
No.
That's it. That's the dialogue for the mom. And then there's like text boxes.
Like the Onion?
Yeah, no, like in Pit Fighter.
And Pit
People. They're always like...
Awesome.
But like full dialogue comes out.
Mine is just going to be really dark and twisted, and it's going to be like, welcome to Happy Town Resort, where relaxation and rejuvenation are our key. Is our goal, and then like there's like a bloodstained hand or something.
Leave your sandals at the door.
Yeah, leave your sandals at the door. Okay, awesome. We've got so much chat interaction with this. Think quick. It's a racing game, brain themed. You're a racing thought. That's so cool.
I love that.
Each time you finish a lap, your thought gets said out loud and affects the mindscape.
Scroll.
The mindscape you're racing in. The other racers are other thoughts which affect the track in their own ways if they finish a lap first.
So that's a great idea.
Freaking dope.
Yeah.
Can
So
you
it's
make that game?
It's original.
Very cerebral.
Yeah, it's cerebral. It sounds like
And it's cool because that's real. Like negative thought patterns. The more your car races on a negative thought pattern, the more negative your internal mindscape.
And that definitely sounds like its own, like that's the concept of the game, but that also sounds like the main selling point already, just how different it is.
Well, sometimes that's a big... So talking about like how to market your game, right?
Yeah.
How to get people to know what your game is. Somebody asked about influencers. I think it's a great game called Dear Esther. Have you ever played this?
No.
It's an art game, basically. It's it's almost a non-game because it's basically a walk game.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically walk through, and as you walk through, this kind of like very complicated story evolves, about a man, his wife, and blah, blah, whatever.
Is this the one with the pregnant lady?
No, there's no characters in it. It's just a landscape. I think it was done with like the Half-Life 2 engine, So no people. It's like a totally abandoned island, and you walk through it. But it's really hard to sell because there's no interactivity in it. It's not really a traditional game whatsoever. So what they did is, while they were developing it, they created the developer, who's a company a developer in the UK. They created liaisons with different journalists who they thought would be interested in this kind of like cerebral game. And they got these journalists like Edge Magazine interested in it, and they became their enthusiastic supporters. So they actually started writing about the game, and they got like an audience really hyped about it. So that when the game launched, it sold a lot.
Yeah.
I think it sold like 250,000 copies, which is pretty good, for that kind of game. And
Yeah.
I think it went on to do better. But, it was done for zero money. Because they said, okay, this is an unusual game. It's going to appeal to a certain kind of like cerebral kind of player potentially. So how do we get at those people? Go to a cerebral magazine, get them to start publishing about it, and that's how you start building awareness of what you do. That's how you start building buzz.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually, I think he was the first to make a video game not only for, but accessible to the blind.
Oh.
The entire game,
Interesting.
I think there's one snippet of video at the very beginning that explains how you lose your sight, but you have to navigate the rest of the game. It's black, and you have to navigate the game by just touch. Response from, like, if you bump into something, you have action where you can feel along a wall, and it'll give you constant contact with the wall. You'll feel the edge, you'll feel the doorknob, and he made it. He only made one level because it was so time consuming, because you have to map every concept of feedback with no visual reference, right? And he won a ton of awards, and I think it released at E3 just as like a thing of like, let's try and work with this, and yeah, it was a lot of that, like a target audience that nobody really markets to.
Yeah.
Because why would you market a video game to a blind person? And he was like, well, because they want to play video games.
So there's three different ways, media you can go after when you're marketing a game. One is called paid media, right? That's like paying, like advertising.
Advertisement, yeah.
So if you have money, you could do that. Fallout 4 when it came out, remember the buses, Hearthstone, bus ads, TV ads.
Yeah.
What was the Super Bowl had had a Clash of Clan ad a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they spent whatever that cost.
That's a lot.
Of money.
Yeah.
I just looked it
I
up.
remember the Fallout 4, that freaking commercial went, I'm the type of guy.
Oh, I love that.
That went viral in
Yeah,
a
it was a great
heartbeat. That
commercial.
was
Yeah.
perfect.
But, you know, so they have a lot of money to
Yeah.
spend, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of money to spend, paid advertising, you can do that. The other way is called, like, own media, stuff that you own. So, you know, if you're if these guys want to make a game, start thinking about how are you going to market yourself? How are you going to market what you do? You know, Twitter, Facebook, put up a website, stuff that you can own.
Yeah.
You know, a YouTube channel.
Like
you know,
having some kind of like personal communication with your audience.
yes, but that you own that, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do what, you know. Make sure you do a trailer. You can put that up on your
Yeah.
on your website. You can put that up on your Facebook page, whatever,
Yeah.
and you can start building. You know, it can start small. You know, you start with your friends, your family, but eventually, hopefully, you know, you get a bigger audience, a bigger network of people who know about your stuff, and that costs almost nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you get Twitter, it's all free,
yeah.
essentially, and you control it 100%. The third one, which I think is very interesting and important, is called earned media, and that's where you earn, how do I say this? You earn the publicity, essentially.
Oh.
So if you're, for instance, if you do a game on mobile, you know, what happens when you play a mobile game after a while? They'll ask you to rate the game, right?
Yeah.
So that's earned media, because if the game is good, everybody's going to rate it 4. How many stars is it these days?
I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Is it 5? You know, so that's earned. So because the game is so good, you earn that recommendation.
These like influencers, do they fall into earned media, or do they fall into?
And influencers are earned media.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay.
So, you know,
Unless it's paid, because there are influencers
they do
who
pay,
are,
exactly.
Yeah.
No, but like if you want to get, you know, if you're going to make a game, you know, you should come up with a list of all the publications that would be interested in your game, and you send them a press release. You send them stuff. You send them, if you can get a one-on-one relationship with like a game reviewer, get them on board. You know, send them your stuff. You know, maybe they will like it enough that they will actually promote it, and they don't charge you anything, right?
Right.
I mean, you think of PewDiePie. There's a game, the Five Nights at Freddy's. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like
Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. That is what do you call a lone wolf developer? It was
Yeah.
like one guy made the game, one guy by himself in his bedroom or whatever he did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they want to get their games out there. Think about promoting yourself. How
Yeah.
can you promote yourself?
Yeah.
You know? And then how can you use people that you know to promote yourself? So yeah, influences are earned media, because it's basically if it's earned because your game is good, you get them interested in it. You know? So PewDiePie loved Five Nights at Freddy's. He made that game a huge success because he has millions of followers.
Millions of
Yeah.
followers. 50 million followers.
Exactly, a lot. I mean, whatever. But that's those are basically the 3 ways you could do it. You know?
Cool.
So if you don't have money, think about, you know, getting people to help you promote your game and
Yeah.
promoting the game yourself.
Awesome.
You know?
Let's jump back into chat really quick. We are going to read through the Tribes of Terra Nova, which was their last
That's
game.
exercise
that's
thing.
my favorite title. By
Oh,
the way.
yeah?
It's pretty,
I came up with
it's
it right before
pretty,
the class.
It's pretty
Right
dope.
before this thing.
Red Strike it's an MMORPG for PC. It's
Free to play.
free-to-play with in-game purchases, so it sounds like League of Legends, that kind of thing. The game is divided into multiple tribes, and depending on the tribe you choose, you will have different attributes, and it might be from a different race. It will be a constant war between tribes, and the objective is to help your tribe through quests or PvP. The updates can introduce new tribes, which means new classes and races as well.
Okay, so there's still a progression system within that game.
Yeah, and which is cool, because I think, like, I mean, I love Overwatch, like I love League of Legends, but there is I hate that it misses the story aspect. So I like that in his game they're
different places for story.
No, but I'm saying like in game, more like a campaign mode. Like there's objectives within the game that there aren't in Overwatch, there aren't in League of Legends. And in his game, it sounded like there were actual in-game objectives, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. So Raw Alpha Male says strategy massively in modern day times, with entire world knocked out except for a few savage tribes of Terra Nova.
Okay, so kind of post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
Cool.
Multiplayer online
done
game
well.
for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Nice.
Get investors. Yeah, that's how he's funding it. He's going to get investors.
Yeah.
And
well,
his,
that's funding, but how are you going to make money? So it's a premium game.
yeah, his tagline is made
so
the
it's
best
like,
tribe
it's like
around
mine.
the
You
world.
got to pay $60, download it, and
Yeah.
do that thing.
I mean,
okay.
that's cool, that's fine. One thing when you come up with a game idea is to also think a little bit about what the competition is.
Yeah.
So what are the other games out there that are kind of the same?
Yeah.
You know,
And how you get against them?
and how are you going to be different from them?
Yeah.
Well, number one, because if you're literally going to an investor, they're going to want to know that they can make their money back. So if you come to them with a totally brand new idea, it's kind of hard to convince them. I'm not
true.
saying it's the best thing to do in a way to come up with something
So you're
totally
saying
original.
if you go to them and say, look at this guy who did this.
Exactly.
They did well.
Exactly.
In which case, we could possibly do well. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's usually how you estimate like how much money you can make. You say, okay, this game did this, but make sure that there's something that's unique and different. That's where it comes to the unique selling point. You know, it has to be. I mean, obviously, some games that don't have anything unique.
Ralph Emil says the
but
Purge style.
ideally, oh, I love that.
That would be crazy. Like if you could sacrifice your own teammates, like if you could do them real dirty and just like nuke your own teammates to get
And then grab all their stuff.
and to get ahead in the world. Oh my God! Can you imagine the alliance systems and the
All the backstabbing and all the friends you lose.
That would be like I know I would not have any friends because I'm low down dirty. Okay, so DCT. For again the Tribes of Terra Nova, he says it's a genre strategy or board game. No, yeah, strategy and board game. Platform is PC and Mac. Money, it's $60. So
Tons of DLC.
Tons of DLCs.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's nice that he says that.
yeah, you're a new tribe on Terra Nova. Expand your territory, compete with other tribes to conquer the planet. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And you can buy new tribes and new expansions to the story.
Again,
I guess.
it's alliances and it's like world domination, you know. That's kind of fun. Okay, so Spike's real-time strategy released on Itch.io. I don't know what that is.
What's Itch.io?
What is it, Joe?
Oh, Spike! You can educate us. What's Itch.io?
Yeah.
Okay, you tell us while we keep reading.
Okay.
You make it cost $10. I'd find people on YouTube who play similar games with around 100,000 followers.
That's terrific.
And have them play it
That's
for
a
free
great
marketing.
I love that he's thinking these terms.
Yeah.
You know, the worst thing is like friends of mine made these 3 games, very low budget little games. They got them out there. Literally, they had no one playing them because they weren't thinking about like how do you promote your game once it was out there without money. So that's great that he's thinking this way.
Spike says Itch.io is like Steam but more indie type games, and then he says Google it.
Okay. We'll check
That's
it out.
the answer to everything. Like I actually have a T-shirt that says Google it.
Okay. Milkneer says Tribes of Terra Nova.
Yeah.
3 alien races arrive on a planet coincidentally at the same time.
Coincidentally.
Interesting. They struggle to terraform and survive each other because they don't recognize the other tribes as life forms.
That's interesting because it can also be like a social commentary, which we touched on a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
When we had
just something that like kind of connects to.
Yeah. We had
present day stuff.
Yeah, we had Shlomo in the studio a few weeks ago. You guys can go back and check the archives if you want to see. It was really cool. We're gonna try and do a part 2. We just February came and went. Like this month happened so fast. But we did one called on ethics of video games, and I think that would be such a fascinating
place to like get to know more of this.
Yeah, to play with ethics in video game and to play with video games as social commentary. Because if you play, I know you haven't played it yet, but The Division has a lot of social commentary.
Yeah.
Within the game, which I think is pretty fascinating. Anyway, so that's our time for the show. This has been a lot of fun. David,
do you have any last things you want to...
anything else you want to throw at everybody?
First of all, I'm impressed by the ideas they came up with.
Aren't they amazing?
You know?
Our audience, we've got some bomb audience members that come in.
Day too. That's
Yeah.
And so those.
Why are you watching? It's Valentine's.
It's okay, man.
Come be alone with all of us.
Yeah, I know. Whatever, you're engaged. Like, go away. I'll
tell you a funny story about that later.
I'm going home playing
the one thing
Division
I would say
and eating
is,
junk food.
obviously they're gamers, right? They play a lot of games. Play games, but look at them deeply from the content level. I think that's important.
Right.
But also deeply in terms of how they're put together, how they're made. If you're talking about like a free-to-play game, really look at it and think about why is it successful? Why
are people addicted to it?
Why are they addicted to it? Why are they willing to put money down to play it?
Absolutely.
And somebody was talking about DLC. Another great idea. Why? How do you get people engaged enough in the game so that they would actually continue to purchase stuff out of it?
Yeah.
So I think it's important.
One quick question though.
Yes.
Just in that line of things, what's What's stopping people from just throwing in as many means of monetization in anything these days?
Well, because it hasn't fully worked. Because I think that's what people did back in the day, meaning 2010. The free-to-play has only been... I mean, it's been around for ages because newspapers are free-to-play, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But, it was really when when Apple allowed IAP in their games, right? That's really when it came big, and then Facebook came along as well. So I just think it didn't always work, right?
Yeah.
Because people got fed up with it. They became like cash machines.
Yeah.
And people felt they were being taken advantage of. That's not good.
Yeah.
So you look at something like Hearthstone. There's no play to win in that game, right? You're just buying cards, So I think it was a sort of the sense that it was a cynical move by, to be honest, like Farmville, that kind of turned people off after a while.
Yeah, and it turned me off, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you... I resent these friggin' in-game ads that you have to play to get back to your game. Like, that's why I can't deal with... I would rather pay $4 and not have to deal with your crap. I said the C word!
Oh.
With your poop.
I'm the same way.
Earmuffs, guys.
It's very interesting, though. When I first started doing mobile games, it was before IAP. So we put mobile games out there. We charged $1.99 for them.
Milkner's on fire tonight.
Once IAP came out, we couldn't sell those games.
Yeah.
We had to convert them to free-to-play. It was like 2011, you know? So, but things are changing now. I think people got a little fed up with it.
So one last thought from Jolkner, because this is hilarious. A game that's blatantly pay to win. You're just playing to show off how rich you are. Ironically, a free-to-play download. That is so meta. Like, come on. But also probably some. I can see that like Martin Shkreli would be playing that game. Like that's the kind of person that would play that game.
Okay.
Dead honest.
She pulled that name out.
Yeah.
And we all know who he is.
Yeah.
Our pharma bro.
Anyways, we're going to be wrapping up, guys. Thank you so much for coming over and watching all of us. Obey. Naruto's great. Chippuden's better.
Obey Sugar Daddy. Hi, welcome to the chat, but we're leaving. Bye.
Yeah. Just to promote our social media stuff. I'm on Charles Coral on Instagram and Charlie Coralejo on Twitter.
I'm Gina Theresa on Instagram and Ashes Then Dust on Twitter.
Do you have anything you want to promote?
No,
Twitter?
fine.
He's like, no, get out of my house.
Yeah.
All right, we're out. We love you guys.
Thank you guys
Peace
so much
out.
for watching.
See ya.
Love you guys.